Good morning, everybody. This is Don Blomdahl, Hall of Fame Sports Cards and Collectibles in Arlington, Washington, going live. I originally had it scheduled for 10:30. Didn't know for sure if I'd make it back in time, but I made it back in time. Didn't have a chance to do my texting countdown or chat countdown as I go along and stuff, but we are here. It is Friday. It has now been a week I've been back. Last Saturday I did my first break after going on vacation a week before. And this is our Hall of Fame Friday Inductees video series. All right, so we got somebody. Lucas opens packs. Hey Lucas, nice to have you online with us today. So far you're the only one that's jumped in so far. In case you're wondering, yeah, I did have it scheduled for 10:30. I moved it to 11. Didn't know if I'd be back. I had to make a run to the my local butcher shop. Somebody in our church was selling off some of his pigs and sent them to the butcher. And I said, well, I'll buy a half a pig. So I had to go pick that up. It's about a half-hour drive from me here to the butcher. Picked up my order, just tossed it in the freezer, kind of organized it so my wife knows where everything's at. And here we are. Made it in time. Instead of doing it at 11, I just jumped in. The sooner I get done, the sooner I can get on with the rest of my day. But this is, yes, our Hall of Fame Fridays Inductees Back to the Past video series. Today we are doing the 2014 inductees. The 2014 inductees, there are 6 inductees that will be going over some of their backgrounds today. It's Bobby Cox. He was inducted in 2014 for the Atlanta Braves and is a manager, but I don't have, no, I do have his manager card. That's right. There's two managers that were inducted, but one I have that, actually the rookie card for that manager when he was a player. And then our second one is Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine, right? And then after that, we've got Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa, 2014, St. Louis. Oh, so Tom Glavine was with his primary team, Atlanta Braves. He was a pitcher. Tony La Russa, 2014 St. Louis Cardinals, was a manager, but I have his player rookie card. He didn't really make it far as a player and stuff. He ended up getting injuries and kind of didn't make it on the baseball side, but then he ended up becoming a manager for many years. And then our fourth one is Greg Maddux, 2014, another Atlanta Braves pitcher. And then fifth, we have Frank Thomas, 2014, primary team Chicago White Sox, was a first baseman. And then, of course, we have Joe Torre. And he, hold on a second here. He was with the New York Yankees for his primary career, and actually he is our third manager. I forgot there was 3 managers, but I also have his player card on that one. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started on this today. So as I get to each one, I'll add their card down here. Let me pan down just a little bit so you can see where the players' cards will go. So as we go along, I'll fill up my stands here with each of the players' cards, and we'll go to town here. All right. So first up, we have Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox is our first player. And this is his card right here. His manager card that I have from, let's see, this is actually a Fleer 1981. Fleer 1981 card for this particular manager here. So Robert Joseph Cox, inducted into the Hall of Fame 2014 primary team Atlanta Braves, was a manager. Although Bobby Cox's playing days were cut short by injuries, he set out on a trail that led him to a long and successful career as one of the game's most highly regarded managers. In an amazing run, Cox, the one-time infielder, would skipper big league teams for 3 decades, accumulating more than 2,500 victories by the time he retired after the 2010 season. But his greatest accomplishments came during his second stint with the Atlanta Braves when he led the franchise to 14 straight division crowns and a World Series title. Born May 21st, 1941 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Cox graduated from Selma High School in California's San Joaquin Valley before signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers as an amateur free agent in 1959. I was 1 year old then. As a minor leaguer, splitting his time between second and third base, Cox spent 5 seasons in the Dodgers farm system before being selected by the Cubs in the November 1964 minor league draft. After being traded to the Braves in April 1966, Cox was acquired by the Yankees after the 1967 season, where he made his big league debut in 1968. After 2 seasons as a big league third baseman with the Yankees, bad knees would eventually force Cox to retire as a player. But a career as a manager beckoned and Cox progressed rapidly. The 30-year-old Cox began his managerial career in the Yankees farm system with Fort Lauderdale of the Florida State League in 1971. After a season with West Haven in the Eastern League, he skippered Syracuse for 4 seasons, winning the International League's Governor's Cup in 1976, before serving as the Yankees' first base coach in their championship season of 1977. After 10 years with the Yankees as a player, a minor league manager, and a big league coach, Cox became Atlanta's 8th manager in 12 years in December 1977. Of the 36-year-old who was 2 years younger than the Braves pitcher Phil Niekro, and became the youngest manager in the National League. Braves owner Ted Turner said Cox was picked because we have a young team and wanted someone who was young and had his future ahead of him instead of behind him. Of his managing philosophy, Cox said, "I'm my own manager. I have no book on the subject. I don't pattern myself after anybody, especially. I hope to work hard as I can and not put pressure on the players. I think I can handle ball players at the major league level just as I did in the minor leagues. There's not that much difference. It's still a young man's game." Cox's first stint managing the Braves would last from 1978 to 1981, resulting in a 266 and 323 record. When Turner was asked at the 1981 press conference who the likely manager of the Braves would be, he replied, "It would be Bobby Cox if I hadn't just fired him. We need someone like him around here." After 4 years managing the Toronto Blue Jays, which included leading the young franchise to the 99 wins and to within 1 game of attaining a World Series berth in 1985, Cox returned to Atlanta as general manager in October 1985. After overseeing a farm system that would lay the foundation for future success. He also became Atlanta's manager on June 22, 1990. Cox was able to devote all his time to managing when John Schuerholz was named general manager of the Braves in October 1990. Starting in 1991, the Braves began a remarkable string of 14 consecutive division crowns that led to 5 National League pennants, 1991, 92, 95, 96, and 99. And in the 1995, the first professional sports world championship for the city of Atlanta. A hallmark of this era in Braves history was the starting pitcher trio of Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz. During Cox's tenure as their manager, the Braves won 6 National League Cy Young Awards, Maddux's 3, Glavine's 2, and Schmaltz's 1. Cox was the single greatest influence on me as a player in terms of teaching the game, respecting the game, carrying yourself the right way on and off the field, Glavine said. All that stuff was important. He was very much like a fatherly figure in that regard. A small part of Bobby Cox changes you as a baseball player, Schmaltz said. 20 years with the man changes your life. Known as a player's manager, Cox treated his players the way he'd want to be treated. I played for a lot of different managers and have been around all through the leagues, and some I didn't care to play for at all. I didn't want to be one of those guys, Cox said. When you get the reputation as a player's manager, players have got to put out. If I'm fair with them, they'll give me everything they got. Cox retired from managing at the conclusion of the 2010 campaign, having spent 29 seasons as a big league skipper. His 2,504 wins rank fifth all-time and include a franchise best of 2,149 victories with the Braves. I'm proud that I played for one of the best managers a player could ever ask for, said Braves pitcher Tim Hudson. He's a manager that feels like a teammate, a friend, and a father figure. That's not something many people can say they've done in their major league career. I think everybody in this clubhouse is really lucky to say that. Voted Manager of the Year by the Baseball Writers Association of America 4 times in 1985 and with Toronto in 1991, 2004, 2005 with Atlanta. Cox was also honored by the Sporting News in a poll of his peers as the league's top skipper 8 times. If I was a ball player, said umpire Bob Davidson, who was responsible for 6 of Cox's big league record 158 ejections, I want to play for Bobby Cox. On June 8, 2009, Cox posted his 2,000th Brave victory, making him just the 4th skipper in big league history to claim 2,000 wins with one team, joining Connie Mack with the Athletics, John McGraw with the Giants, and Walter Alston with the Dodgers. He never played an inning for the Atlanta Braves, said longtime Braves player Chipper Jones. He never threw a pitch, and he never got a hit, but he was responsible for 2,000 plus wins. So Robert Joe Cox, known to all as Bobby Cox. So this is his card there. Hold it up so you can see it kind of more on that camera. And that's the information. You could always freeze frame if I get it in a good, there we go. I think you could probably read it there if you wanted to. So that's his player card for the 2014 Inductee series. All right. Next, of course, we have on our list is Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine. Just going to throw out a quick shout out here. Today, the reason I'm wearing my Navy hat instead of my Seattle Mariners hat is today is, oh, there we go. Sit down in the chair and then I can go almost off the screen. But today is Flag Day, June 14th, and this day is kind of special. Just wanted to throw that out there. So staying too soon there. I'm Glavine. So this is his player card. I'll just show you real briefly, and I'll show it again at the end. Scroll this down so you can see where I'm putting the player cards on display here. And we're going to roll with our second Hall of Famer, Tom Glavine, Thomas Michael Glavine. Inducted in the Hall of Fame 2014 primary team Atlanta Braves. Primary position, he was a pitcher. So Tom Glavine never lit up the radar gun, so opposing batters often came to the plate anticipating a good at-bat. But in most cases, those same batters trudged right back to the dugout, victimized by a steady-eyed strike thrower who overwhelmed opponents with control and determination rather than speed. Glavine, whose 305 victories are surpassed only by 3 other left-handers in history, and is now on his way to the Hall of Fame. Born March 25, 1966 in Concord, Massachusetts, and raised in the Boston suburb of Billerica, Glavine lettered in both ice hockey and baseball in high school, and he was selected in the 4th round of the 1984 National Hockey League entry draft by the Los Angeles Kings, but chose baseball when the Braves tabbed him with a 2nd-round pick that same year. By 1987, Glavine was in the majors as the Braves assembled a young rotation, including John Smoltz and Steve Avery, that would power the franchise for years to come. After losing a big league worst 17 games in 1988, Glavine went 14-8, and in 1989. Over the next 18 seasons, Glavine would only post 3 more losing seasons. In 1991, Glavine led the Braves to the National League West title, a worst to first story for a team that finished last in 1990. Glavine was 20-11 with 2.55 earned run average and a league-leading 9 complete games, earning the National League Cy Young Award. He helped the Braves advance to their first World Series in Atlanta, where they fell to the Twins in 7 games. It was the start of a stretch of 14 straight first-place finishes in complete seasons. For the Braves, an all-time record. Glavine became well known for his calm demeanor on the mound and his dogged refusal to give in to batters. He would paint the outside corner with pitch after pitch, expanding the strike zone ever so slightly throughout the game. He walked 1,500 career batters because he would not throw pitches down the middle of the plate. Even if he was behind in the count, the result was more than 5,800 base runners in 4,413.1 innings, but hardly any huge scoring outbursts that drove him from the game. Glavine notched 20-win seasons in both 1992 and 1993, finishing second and third respectively in the Cy Young Award voting. The Braves fell to the Blue Jays in the 1992 World Series, then lost to Philadelphia in 1993 National League Championship Series. Glavine was 13-9 in the strike-shortened 1994 campaign, when he then was 16-7 in the 1995, finishing third in the Cy Young Award voting. In the World Series, Glavine threw 8 shutout innings in Game 6 against a powerful Indians lineup, earning a 1-0 victory and wrapping up the Fall Classic title for the Braves. He was named the World Series Most Valuable Player after going 2-0 with a 1.29 ERA. From 1996 through 2002, Glavine averaged almost 17 wins a season, while earning another Cy Young Award in 1998 following his 20-6 campaign. Glavine won 21 games in 2000 and finished second in the Cy Young Award voting, all while maintaining his status as one of the game's most durable pitchers. From 1990 through 2007, Glavine started at least 32 games a season, except for the 94 and 95 seasons that were shortened by the labor dispute. In that stretch, Glavine led the National League to starts 6 times, including 4 in a row from 1999 through 2002. Glavine left the Braves following the 2002 season, signing with their National League East rival, the New York Mets. In 5 seasons in the Big Apple, Glavine won 61 games, including his 300th win on August 5, 2007, becoming just the 23rd pitcher and 5th left-hander to reach that plateau. Glavine returned to the Braves in 2008 at the age of 42, but suffered the first major arm injury of his career and went just 2-4 in 13 games. The next season, Glavine attempted a comeback from shoulder and elbow surgery in the minor leagues before being released on June 3, 2009, ending his big league career. At the time, he was the winningest active pitchers in the major league. Glavine's career numbers: 305 wins, 203 losses, with a 3.54 ERA and 2,607 strikeouts. He was named to 10 All-Star games, earned Cy Young Award votes in 6 seasons, and won 4 Silver Slugger Awards as a pitcher. In 682 games, started ranks. His 682 games started ranks 12th all-time. So Thomas Michael Glavine is our second Hall of Famer here. All right. show you a close-up of his rookie card here. Let's see. There we go. That's the front. This is the back, since it is his rookie card, but you can see on there it shows you where he played minor league. And this is his rookie card. All right. So, Tom Glavine. All right. So our third Hall of Famer for 2014 is Tony La Russa. Of course, he was inducted primarily as being a manager, but I do have his rookie card here. Tony La Russa. We'll show the front and back of his card at the end of his inductee history. So Tony La Russa, 2014, and he was inducted primary team St. Louis Cardinals, and primary position he got inducted as a manager. For Tony La Russa, managing a Major League Baseball team was way down on his list of career goals. First, it was big league player. Then he wanted to be a lawyer. But when he finally found his true calling, La Russa needed little time to establish that. He was one of the best skippers the game has ever seen. Every successful manager has players, La Russa said, and that's the number one message. Coaches and managers don't decide baseball. Players decide it. But what you do as a coach or coaching staff is you have responsibility and opportunity to help the players in their best position to compete. Born October 4th, 1944 in Tampa, Florida, La Russa grew up on the ball field in Florida's year-round warm weather. He was pursued as an infield prospect by most of the 20 big league teams and signed as a $50,000 bonus baby with the Kansas City Athletics immediately following his high school graduation. Baseball's rule at the time mandated that La Russa, due to the size of his bonus, remain in the big leagues for one full season. That year, in 1963, La Russa appeared in 34 games, recording 11 hits and 44 at-bats. He made inquiries, studied the opposing batters, and always tried to improve his fielding, said A's manager Eddie Lapotte. A's coaches Jimmy Dykes and Mel McGaha would hit him grounders until they were nearly exhausted. But the following season, La Russa injured his arm playing softball. He would not return to the big leagues until 1968 and would appear in only 98 MLB games after the 1963 season. Tony, the manager, would have really liked and respected Tony, the player, La Russa told Coach and Athletic Director magazine in 2006, except he would have never played because he was trying to win. La Russa retired as an active player following the 1977 season, having posted a .199 career batting average, but starting in the 1973 offseason, La Russa enrolled in law school with the plan of practicing law after his playing days. He graduated from Florida State in 1978 and passed the Florida bar in 1979, but by that time he had been bitten by the managing bug. With Chicago in the White Sox minor league system, I was a player, coach for a great man named Lauren Babe, and it was just like an awakening. La Russa told the Riverfront Times in 1997, he showed me things about managing, and I thought I was a player who paid attention over the years. I had no clue at all what was involved with managing. La Russa managed the Double-A Knoxville Sox and the Southern League for the half season of 1978, spending the other half of the year as a coach with the White Sox. Then in 1979, La Russa managed the Iowa Oaks of the Triple-A American Association before taking over the White Sox from Don Kessinger on August 2nd, 1979, the day Yankees captain Thurman Munson died in a plane crash. At 35, La Russa was the youngest manager in the game. His intelligence was the thing that first attracted me, said White Sox owner Bill Veeck. who was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1991. And his dedication, I think, we're going to find that he is one of the really outstanding managers before he's through. La Russa led the White Sox to record a record of 27 wins and 27 losses for the rest of the 1979 season, then guided the club to steady improvement over the next few seasons. Chicago finished with 87 wins in 1982, the club's second full season above 500 in 10 years. In 1983, the White Sox won 99 games and the American League West title before falling to Baltimore in the American League Championship Series. He was named the American League's Manager of the Year, the first of 4 times he would win that award. La Russa managed the White Sox through the middle of the 1986 season, when Veek's successors dismissed him on June 19th. Less than a month later, La Russa took over the Oakland A's. I have never been in anything but an ideal situation. I'm talking about the type of ownership, front office, scouting, and development. La Russa said, my friends in managing have only had that once in a while. In Oakland, La Russa again turned around a franchise, leading the club to an 81-81 record in the 1987 season, the team's first non-losing season in 7 years. Then in 1988, La Russa piloted a young A's team to 104 wins in the American League West title. Oakland swept through Boston in the ALCS before losing the World Series against a determined Dodgers team. La Russa was again named American League Manager of the Year following the 1988 season. In 1989, the A's returned to the World Series, and this team swept the Giants to capture the title. Oakland returned to the Fall Classic in the 1990, winning 103 games and sweeping the Red Sox again before falling to the Reds. After missing the playoffs in 1991, Oakland won the American League West again in 1992, but lost the ALCS against the Blue Jays. It would mark La Russa's final postseason with the A's, who began a rebuilding program that eventually culminated in La Russa's leaving the team following the 1995 season. In 1996, La Russa took over the Cardinals. He led St. Louis to the NLCS that year before losing 7 games to the Braves, and also piloted the Cardinals to a postseason appearance from 2000 to 2002, La Russa winning the National League Manager of the Year in 2002. The Cardinals won 104 games in the NL pennant in 2004 before losing to the Red Sox in the World Series, and also advanced to the NLCS in 2005. Then in 2006, St. Louis rallied down the stretch to win the NL Central Division title with just 83 victories. La Russa, however, guided the Cardinals through the postseason with a flawless hand-beating Detroit in the World Series to take a La Russa's second World Series title. La Russa faced off against longtime friend Jim Leyland in the World Series. I have a sneaking suspicion that La Russa is the best manager of all time, said Leyland, when the Tigers manager who served as coach on La Russa's White Sox teams. I can't compare ERAs in the last 30 years, but it's been the best. There's no question about it. The Cardinals returned to the postseason in 2009 by winning the National League Central, then captured a wild card berth in 2011. That year, La Russa led his team to another world championship, with St. Louis needing 18 of the 19 games available in the 3 series to win each round. Following the Cardinals' improbably 7-game win over the Rangers in the World Series, which featured 2 sequences where the Cardinals were down to their last strike, La Russa retired. His final record, 2,728 wins, 2,365 losses, good for a 538 winning percentage, and the 3rd most wins all time behind Connie Mack and John McGraw. La Russa's teams finished first in their division 12 times, winning 6 pennants and 3 World Series. I believe I'm a player's manager, but only for the players who care about the team and how well we do, said La Russa, whose intense approach to the game was tempered by his genuine care for the men who played it. If you don't care about those things, if you're not going to try hard and care about what we do, then I'm not a player's manager. Anthony La Russa, nicknamed Tony La Russa. Oh my word, timber thumping. Dominator, hey. Oh yeah, I did. Did you get my mail? Yeah, I thought I gave you a response and a shout out on the video and stuff. I'm still going through everything. Matter of fact, when I finish this here, I'm heading back up to my separation room. I'm going to start putting the rest of those. I was trying to do catch up with, you still here or you jumped off already? 10:49. Here I'm so engrossed. Yeah, he must have just came on and came right off. Sorry about that, Dominator. I wish they'd give you an alert when somebody sends like a text or something. That would really help out. That would be, I think, much better than just looking up when you're engrossed in your video feed and you're not paying attention to the chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, I did get your mail, unless you sent something else. But no, I got the big package. I've got the 5 400 count boxes that I'll be working on next. I did look through and I did pull out some items in the when I did open up the box and showed everybody what I got. But yeah, no, I cannot see why I would not appreciate everything that is in that box. Trust me. By the time I get close to finishing that box and probably some of my other stuff I'm working on, I'm hoping to have about 15,000 Hall of Famer cards in my collection. I don't know how many you have, but down the road I might place another order. Might want to get another 2,000 Hall of Famer cards if you still got them by the time I get ready for them. But yeah, sorry about missing that shout out, but I'm giving you that shout out now. For those that watch the video, go to Dominator 343. I don't know if that G3 is on the end there. I think you can still look it up with Dominator 343, and you'll get him. But yeah. So let me get on with my video series here. Next, we're going to go on to our 4th Hall of Famer here. Our 4th Hall of Famer, which is Greg Maddux. Oh, wait. Let me show you Tony La Russa's rookie card here. Again, that's his rookie card when he was a player, not a manager. I don't believe I've got many of his cards. I don't think I have one of his manager cards. And that's kind of like his stats on the back of his. This is a. That's funny on the back. This card's so old, but those that know this set, I'm pretty sure this is his 1963 is this card. It's from the 1963 set. Okay, it's Topps 1963, card number 244. You can see it on the back there if you want to look it up. All right, get a better picture probably on the internet, on eBay or whatnot if you type in the information. But yeah, so next we're going to do Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, 2014 inductee. Greg Maddux, put him down here. Go into Greg Maddux. Yeah, sorry about that, Dominator. Really feel sorry now that I wasn't paying attention to the chat. So at times, Greg Maddux's mastery of the strike zone truly seemed effortless. Fastball down and away on the black for strike 1. Fastball on the hands for strike 2, and changeup away for strike 3. After pitching strike after strike for the average-looking right-hander who elevated control to a new definition in the 90s. Now the winningest pitcher of his generation is heading to Cooperstown. Gregory Allen Maddux was born April 14, 1966 in San Angelo, Texas. He spent some of his childhood in Madrid, Spain, following his father on his Air Force assignment. So his dad was in the Air Force. Before graduating from high school in Las Vegas, Maddox's father, Dave, taught Greg and his older brother, Mike, the fundamentals of the game, and Mike was drafted by the Phillies in the second round of the 1982 MLB draft. 2 years later, Greg, who had not yet reached his full size of 6 foot, 170 pounds, was taken in the second round by the Cubs. After winning a combined 27 Major League games during the 1985-86 seasons, while demonstrating a pitching intelligence beyond his years, Maddox struggled as a 21-year-old in 1987 with the Cubs, going 6-14 with a 5.61 earned run average. It would be almost 2 decades before Maddox posted another losing record. In 1988, Maddox improved to 18-8, the first of his 17 straight seasons with at least 15 victories, the longest streak by any pitcher in big league history. Maddox also earned the first of his 8 All-Star game selections that year. In 1989, Maddox went 19-12 with a 2.95 ERA, leading the Cubs to the National League East title while finishing third in the National League Cy Young Award vote. He won 15 games in 1990, along with the first of his record 18 Gold Glove awards, and led the National League in innings pitched in 1991 with 263, the first of 5 straight seasons in which he led the league in that category. Then in 1992, Maddox went 20-11 with a 2.18 ERA and earning the first of 4 straight Cy Young awards, a record that went unchanged until Randy Johnson tied it from 1999 to 2002. After the season, Maddox became a free agent and eventually agreed with the Braves on a 5-year, $28 million contract. It would become one of the best bargains in big league history. Maddox went 20-10 in 1993, leading the Braves to their 3rd straight NL West title and topping the league with a 2.36 ERA, the first of 4 ERA crowns he would capture during the next 2 strike-shortened seasons. Maddox was practically untouchable, going 16-6 with a 1.56 ERA in 1994, then following that with a 19-2 mark in 1995 that included a 1.63 ERA. In 1995, Maddox and the Braves won the World Series, topping the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. Maddox was 3-1 in the postseason. During his first year stretch of Cy Young Award dominance, Maddox was 75-29 with a 1.98 ERA, and his control improved almost every year in 189.1 innings from 94 to 97. Maddox walked just 102 batters, including 23 intentional passes. Maddox used every edge that he had and continued to dominate the batters as the Braves continued to amass NL West titles from 93 to 2003. His 11 years in a Braves uniform, Atlanta won the division crown in each completed season, advancing to the World Series 3 times and winning the 1995 Fall Classic in that time. Maddox went 198-88 with a 2.63 ERA. Maddox returned to the Cubs via free agency in 2004, winning his 300th game in 2004 and leading the NL National League in starts in 2005 with 35 at the age of 39. In 23 big league seasons, Maddox spent only 15 days on the disabled list, a 2-week stint in 2002 with an inflamed nerve in his lower back. He retired following the 2008 season with 355 wins and only 227 losses, a 0.610 winning percentage, his victory total in his 8th best of all time, and his innings pitched total of 5,008.1, ranked 13 overall, Gregory Allen Maddox. There's a close-up of his card here, and his stats here. This one here was when he, this is his third year. Oh, wait a minute. He went back to Iowa in '87. That's probably when he was injured. So yeah, Greg Maddox. All right, here we go. Here's Big Guns himself. Our fifth Hall of Famer, Frank Thomas. Got his rookie card here, Frank Thomas rookie card. All right, now we're moving on to number 5, getting closer to finishing the round here. All right, so Frank Edward Thomas, inducted into the Hall of Fame 2014, primary team Chicago White Sox, and primary position was a first baseman. Even in the context of one of the greatest offensive ages in the history of the game, Frank Thomas's numbers are staggering. One combination, however, stands out. No other man in baseball has strung together 7 straight seasons of 20-plus home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 walks, and a 300 average. Not Ruth, not Gehrig, not Williams. Frank Thomas's place in history is secure. Now his place is in Cooperstown. Born May 27, 1968 in Columbus, Georgia, Thomas starred in both baseball and football in high school. But when drafted in his first year eligible for the MLB draft in 1986, Thomas then enrolled at Auburn University with the intention of playing football. And the 6'5", 240-pound tight end caught 3 passes as a freshman that fall. But Thomas still yearned to play baseball and starred for Auburn in 1987, hitting .359. He played for the United States team in the Pan American Games that summer, but was injured playing football in the fall. From that point on, Thomas was a baseball player. Thomas was named the Southeastern Conference's most valuable player in his junior season of 1989 and left school that summer when he was taken in the 7th overall pick by the White Sox. 1 year later, Thomas made his big league debut as an August call-up, hitting .330 with 31 RBIs in 60 games. He would stay in Coast as the White Sox's first baseman designated hitter for the next 15 years and quickly earned the nickname the Big Hurt for the damage he inflicted on imposing pitchers. In his first full season in 1991, Thomas batted .318 with 32 home runs, 104 runs scored, 109 RBIs, and an American League leading 138 walks and a .453 on-base percentage. Pretty close to being half the time he was at bat, he was on base. After leading the league in doubles, walks, and on-base percentage in 1992, Thomas won his first Most Valuable Player award the following year with a .317 average, 41 home runs, and 128 RBIs for a White Sox team that won the American League West title. He was unanimous choice in the MVP voting, garnering all 28 first-place votes. The next year, Thomas was even better, hitting a .353 with 38 home runs, 101 RBIs, and league best 106 runs scored in just 113 games in that strike-shortened season. He won again the American League MVP, becoming just the American League 6th player after Jimmy Fox, Hal Newhouser, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, and Roger Maris to win back-to-back Most Valuable Player awards. Thomas continued to pile up the numbers in the 1990s, winning a batting title in 1997 with a 3.47 or a 347 average. His streak of 7 straight 100 RBIs, 100 walks, 20 homers, and 300 average seasons ended the next year. But Thomas posted another one of those in 2000, leaving him with 8 for his career. Only Babe Ruth with 12 and Lou Gehrig with 9 ever had more. And only Ted Williams and Barry Bonds had as many. Thomas battled injuries in 2001, 2004, 2005, unable to appear in half of Chicago's games in any of those seasons. Following the 2005 season, where the White Sox won the World Series, despite Thomas appearing in just 34 games, the Sox bought out the rest of Thomas's contract and parted ways with their all-time leader in runs, doubles, home runs, and total bases and walks. Thomas moved to the A's and then the Blue Jays, where he totaled 65 home runs and 209 RBIs over 2 seasons from 2006 and 7. Injuries slowed him in 2008 by the age of 40, and he retired in February of 2010 after sitting out the 2009 season. His final numbers: 521 home runs, 18th all-time, with 5 seasons with at least 40 home runs, 1,704 RBIs, 22nd all-time, a 301 career batting average with a 419 on-base percentage, 20th all-time, including 4 seasons where he led the league in on-base percentage, 1,667 walks, 10th all-time, with 4 league-leading seasons in the bases on balls, 5 All-Star Game selections, 4 Silver Slugger awards, and 9 top 10 finishes in the American League MVP voting, including his back-to-back wins in 93 and 94. So, Frank Edward Thomas. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. Show you his rookie card again, in case you want to look for that one. Frank Thomas rookie card. All right, another Topps card number 414. You can see some of his stats there from when he was in the minors. All right. So he was inductee number 5. Number 5. Now we move on to our last one, Joe Torre. Joe Torre. Joe Torre. This is his action-packed card. It's about the best one I could find. I don't have many Joe Torres in my collection, but I'm working on getting more. This is a 1993 action-pack card. I'll show the front and back again at the end of his history here. So Joseph Paul Torre, inducted into the Hall of Fame 2014, primary team New York Yankees, and he was mainly known as and inducted as a manager. But this is a player card for him. I like putting a player card in if the managers do have one instead of theirs, so that way I get mostly the players. Yep, so I got Frank Thomas's rookie card backwards. Didn't mean anything by that, Frank. There we go. All right. There we go. Straighten them out a little bit. He was a 9-time All-Star and the 1971 National League Most Valuable Player, who totaled 2,342 hits in 18 big league seasons. And Joe Torre was just getting warmed up, because in 29 seasons as manager, Torre became one of the only 5 skippers to win at least 4 World Series titles. Born July 18, 1940 in Brooklyn, New York, Torre followed his brother Frank's footsteps and signed with the Braves out of high school. He hit .344 with the Class C Eau Claire Braves in his first pro season in 1960, and appeared in 2 games with Milwaukee that fall. The next season, Torre finished second in the National League Rookie of the Year balloting, and even earned a handful of National League Most Valuable Player votes after hitting .278 with 10 home runs, 42 RBIs as the Braves' regular catcher. Torre served as the Braves' backup catcher in 1962, then emerged as a regular in 1963 when he hit .293 with 14 home runs and 71 RBIs, while earning his first All-Star Game selection. Over the next 5 seasons, Torre became one of the best hitting stops in the game, peaking with 36 home runs in 1966. He earned a Gold Glove Award in 1965. But after a contract dispute, Torre found himself traded to the St. Louis in spring training of 1969 in exchange for future Hall of Famer Orlando Cepeda. The Cardinals installed Torre at first base, and he had responded with 18 home runs, 101 RBIs, and a 289 average. After splitting time between catcher and third base in 1970 and hitting 21 home runs to go with 100 RBIs, Torre became a full-time third baseman in 1971, leading the National League with 230 hits to go with a 363 batting average, 24 home runs, and 137 RBIs. He was named the league's most valuable player. Torre never repeated those numbers, but remained a productive corner infielder for the next several seasons. Then in October 1974, the Cardinals sent Torre home to play for the Mets in a deal for Ray Sadecki and Tommy Moore. Right now, picture him at third base, said Mets manager Yogi Berra at the time of the trade. However, the Mets management had other long-term ideals. After 2 seasons as a semi-regular in the 75-76, the Mets hired Torre to manage the club 45 games into the 1977 season. Torre served as a player-manager briefly, making his final appearance as a player on June 17th. He finished his playing career with 2,342 hits, 297 batting average, 252 home runs, and 1,185 RBIs. The Mets came to me late in 1976 and told me I had a chance to go to the Yankees, Torre told Newsday in 1996, but I said I didn't want to go if it was going to cost me a chance to manage the Mets in the future. Torre skippered the Mets through the 1981 season, posting a record of 286 and 420 before taking over the Braves in 1982. In Atlanta, Torre led the team to a 13-0 record to start the season, then en route to an 89 and 73 record and the Braves' first National League West Division title since 1969. The Braves lost to the Cardinals in the 1982 NLCS, and after 88 wins in 1983 and 80 in 1984, the Braves released him. Torre worked as a broadcaster for the Angels from 1985 to 1990, before replacing Whitey Herzog as the Cardinals manager during the 1990 season. From 1991 to 1994, the Cardinals finished second or third every season before Torre was dismissed midway through the 1995 campaign. Then in 1996, the Yankees owner George Steinbrenner hired Torre as his team's manager, a move criticized in the media at the time. Torre entered his Yankees career with a record of 894 and 1,003, but led New York to 92 wins that first season, before winning the ALCS against the Orioles and then rallying from a 0-2 deficit to beat the Braves in the World Series. The Yankees won 96 games and a wild card berth in 1997, then struggling together 3 straight World Series titles from 98 to 2000, highlighted by the 114 games and the 1998 team won during the regular season. The Yankees won the AL pennant again in 2001, then posted 3 straight 100-plus win seasons, including the AL pennant in 2003. The Bronx Bombers advanced to the playoffs each year from 2005 to 2007, before Torre was let go, making it a 12 playoff trips in 12 seasons for the Yankees under Torre. He's a great manager, said former Yankees third baseman Scott Borsius. Then is more managing than who to pitch and play. It's managing people. The press and Joe does all the greats. The players followed the tone set by manager and Joe as the calming influence of his team. Torre moved on to manage the Dodgers from 2008 to 2010, winning 2 more division titles in his final 15 seasons as manager. Torre led his clubs to the playoffs 14 times. When you have the resume that he has, and you see how he has done it with a calmness that he has been able to display from many difficult situations, you know you are getting a quality human being, said Dodgers manager Ned Colletti when Torre was hired. Torre's 4 World Series titles ranked tied for 4th all-time behind Joe McCarthy with 7, Casey Stengel with 7, and Connie Mack with 5, and tied with Walter Alston. He finishes his 29 seasons as a manager with a record of 2,326 and 1,997. Good for a career .538 winning percentage. Only Connie Mack, John McGraw, Tony La Russa, and Bobby Cox have won more games as a big league manager. So Joseph Paul Torre was a great player and a great manager. That's the best card I have for now for him, but that's what I used for this video, just to show off. Oops. There's the back. It's action-packed, and it's card number 151 out of this set. Gives some of his career highlights as a player. 18 years playing baseball. And then he was in baseball for a long time. So that recaps all of our Hall of Famers. Just do a real quick one here. So we have Bobby Cox, Tom Glavine, Tony La Russa, Greg Maddux, Frank Thomas, and Joe Torre for our inductees for 2014. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you watch this video, if you're not subscribed already. And we will be back tomorrow with Box Break Saturday. Box Break Saturday. Haven't decided for sure. It might be a Cooperstown box. It might be something new from 2019. Sometimes you never can tell, but it will be a box break of some type. Could even be a mystery box. We'll see. But I will be back tomorrow at 10:25 for my live stream preview and 10:30 to start breaking open the box. So until then, have a great day today. If you do have a flag at your house, make sure you put it up. It is Flag Day today. 41 years ago today, I joined the United States Navy on Flag Day, 1978. So you all have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend coming up, and hope to see you around the channels. All right, bye now.